Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Dear audience, I, Dr. Ramit Azad, welcome you all to our program New Bangladesh. Here, as usual, we shall discuss new politics, new culture, new economy, new education, new citizens, and overall new Bangladesh. Today, in our program, as our honorable guest, here present, the Honorable Professor of Brack University, Dr. Syed Abdullah Al Mamun. Assalamu alaikum, sir.
Walaikum assalam.
Sir, I would like to ask you that what should be the top priorities to reform our Bangladesh, new Bangladesh, considering the domestic and global context?
Thank you, Professor Ramit Azad. Thank you for inviting me here. In fact, I just give my opinion in terms of the title you mentioned, that new Bangladesh, new culture. And so here in a new politics. So here I would like to replace the new word with a right politics, right culture for the right Bangladesh, appropriate Bangladesh for the almost 18 crore people. I would like to, as a citizen of Bangladesh, I want to aspire to see that kind of Bangladesh, that's the right kind of Bangladesh, which will ensure the peace and prosperity of the 18 crore people. So, so in that cases, at this moment, in the global and the local context, I'd like to prioritize three important things. One is that, like, the sense of security. Every individual in this country, regardless of position, post, or any kind of categorization, each and every citizen of Bangladesh must have the appropriate sense of security, highest level of sense of security, because that gives them the confidence to participate in the economic activities as well as rebuilding a right Bangladesh. The second issue is then education. As you also know as a professor, that the importance of the education, and the education which will educate us in terms of not only certificates, also will build our moral position as well as sense of responsibility will be enhanced, so that we individual can also play our respective role. Because as an individual, as an individual entity, government or any particular agency cannot make sure the sense of security or the better Bangladesh. So the last and the most important, another most important point I want to highlight, that is in the well-functioning financial market or financial system in Bangladesh. So the severe injury has been happened in the financial sector must be reformed. Not only the injury should be reformed, would be rectified. Rather, we should build the financial system that will ensure the stability, economic stability as well. Because you also know that the financial sector works like the heart of the economy. So when it will be stable, then the supply side as well as the demand side will get the blood circulation for which they can groom. So in that case, I would like to emphasize the security, education, and the financial sector, strengthening the financial sector, the right kind of financial sector for prosperous Bangladesh.
Thank you, sir. As regards security, sir, what type of security you prioritize? Like physical security, that you should be secured from the dacoits or from robbers or others, or any kind of social security you are mentioning, sir? Here.
Okay. So here, when I say the sense of security, you know that as an individual, I must perceive that I'll be not insecure, number one. And second is that reality is that, like, okay, how I can perceive it. Does it mean that there will be no chances or risks of the insecurity? Yes. There is every time there can have some, where there is a people, there are some complexities, there are some individual issues as well. There will be chances of the insecurity. But when I mean the sense of security means if any insecure situation has been happened for any citizen of the Bangladesh, rule of the law and its enforceability will be quicker. Means if I would like to impair your security, your sense of security, then I must be accountable. When I'll get that like message that I'll be under the enforceability of the legal system, then I will rethink to create the insecurity for you. So here the state must prioritize it, that none will feel the insecurity. And if insecure something has been happened to anyone, then state will come up with its enforceability with the appropriate set of law, with the appropriate like process as well. So when we can ensure this, then we say then inclusive Bangladesh, then the inclusive Bangladesh will be established. Then a marginal people will not feel isolated. They will also feel that they are the part of the state and state is taking care of them. Then they will be also more responsible. It will be kind of a reciprocity, that when a marginal people living in a village will feel that if anyone impair my security system or give me the inappropriate position, then state is with me. Independently state is with me. Then he will be also more responsible on the state in a better way. So to me, the sense of security, I mean the sense of security in this way. And that can be also a tool of building inclusive Bangladesh.
Thank you, sir. As regards the rule of law, as a professor, I teach in both the faculties, in science faculty and the business faculty. So I give importance teaching the students about the rule of law. If you see the universe, that in the whole universe, we see the rule of law. And a set of laws are basically ruling over the universe, like Ohm's law, like laws of gravitations, like Coulomb's law, and so on. And all these laws are interconnected. So nicely they are interconnected. That's why we see that the whole universe is well ordered and well secured.
Absolutely.
Yes, from this point of view, yes, obviously we can demand that there should be rule of law in a state, in a welfare state as well, sir. But as regards our country, sir, rule of law, if the laws are black laws, like what was introduced by the British colonies, like Rowlatt Act, or some other laws, tribal criminal laws, those are basically black laws. Using that, if we keep them alive, those black laws, those are basically violating the human rights, then we will be able to run this country as we need or as we want.
You rightly spotted the very important element. The antecedent of all the prosperity, means all the consequences we found of the society and socio-economic development is the security issues. And as we mentioned that, like a law should be enforced in a right way. The word I say is in a right way. Right law is also applicable in a right enforceability. Because when then a black law or inappropriate law which will impair or which will be applied in a biased way, then the sense of security will be hampered. Because with this black law, a party can be victimized. So when a party can be victimized, other will be the witness, and other may not be victimized, but their sense of security will be hampered. Okay, so you rightly spotted that the law should be in a right which will ensure. That's why I do not say that security. I say that sense of security, perception about the security, that I'm here and the state is in there to ensure the security of every individuals. So I do fully agree with you that there's a right time to come up with the appropriate set of law and its enforceability to ensure individual security, that and through these we can build the sense of security in the society.
Sure, sir.
regardless of the social layers.
So there should be a reform in law sector, I think.
That should be the prioritize. I think if you tell me that what one single thing it needs to be done at this moment,
Yeah.
I think as a general citizen of this country, I want that everyone will feel secure in a country like Bangladesh, because our majority of the people are very peaceful.
Yes.
History says that.
Yes, yes.
Thousands
Oh, yes.
years history
Yes.
says that. Majority of people, and they always say bad as a bad,
Yes.
good as a good. So they deserve the sense of security.
As a professor of economics, sir, and finance as well, what do you think that the finance sector should be prioritized, sir, at this moment?
Yeah, definitely. You know that we all know that there are three parts, three elements of the economy. One is in the supply side, and is the demand side, and the financial market or financial system. So financial system works like the heart of the economy that circulate the blood in the supply side and the demand side. So if that heart has been corrupted or that heart has been injured severely, it cannot circulate the blood. Then if not, then supply side shock will be created, demand side shock will be created, as well as the financial sector shock will further damage the economic order. So at this moment, we all know that all parameters of the financial sector are adverse parameters that demonstrate that we have the severe injury in the financial sectors. So one thing is that why this injury has been happened, we have to identify objectively, not any, sometimes we put the statement as a gross statement. But, yes, there can be, the situation can be addressed as a gross statement, but it may have lot of important elements that have created that, those elements have created that injuries. We have to identify very pertinent way. Second thing is that, should we repair those injuries for the shorter term? Yes, we should take the initiative for repairing those injuries. Third point is that, should we let it go as it is? No. If so, then again there will be chances to create those sort of injuries. So in that case, those injuries should be mitigated. For example, if you compare the size of the Bangladesh economy with other countries, similar size of the economy, you'll find the number of financial institutions. In Bangladesh is almost more than 62, around 65 institutes. Means when you have a 65 institutes, banks, means you need to appoint 65 management, CEO, and 65 management have the 65 management cost. And there is a 65 chances of the governance failure. And if those governance failure, and due to that failure, what is happening? The cost of fund is increasing. When this cost of fund is increasing, it is transmitted to the supply side, means the farm companies who are producing. So when the producer feeling that higher cost, then they definitely charge the higher price. And when the higher price is setting, then the inflation is escalating and the productivity is going down. And yes, sometimes we find that the interest rate is used as even the current time, the interest rate is used as an instrument to control the inflation. But the reality is that interest rate control might be a short-term strategy, but in a long-term, in a sustainable way, if we want to stabilize the economy, particularly the inflation, we need to improve the productivity. And if we want to improve the productivity, cost of funds should be reduced, and the well-governed and well-functioning financial sector, means a heart, can be the instrumental in that cases. And through that, we can improve our productivity. And yes, there are other more issues for the supply side. And when we can make sure that, then it will generate employment and it will also create impact on the demand side. Then the consumer demand will be going up. Because one of the, as we know that, Bangladesh economy has one of the highest potentiality due to its internal customer base.
Huge customers.
Huge customer base. So tapping that opportunity, we should address these three things as a supply side, demand side, and financial sector. So here, I think the reform should be started from the financial sector. Then it may transmit to the higher productivity, and the demand side can be gradually improved. But otherwise, if we pay people or give a lot of incentive only people for stabilize the demand side first, then it will be not sustainable to me.
Well, no, some may ask that if there are 60 or 65 banks, it is creating employment opportunity. Is it a right way of thinking, sir?
I disagree with this proposition because the purpose of the financial sector itself is not to generate the employment. The purpose of the financial sector to generate capital and supply to the industry. It will be the instrumental for industrialization. So major industrialization should create the employment. So if we rely on financial sector for employment generation, then what will be happen? This excess cost will transmit it as the higher cost of production, as I mentioned earlier. So the responsibility of the financial sector should generate capital in a cheaper way, cheaper rate, and the cost of fund should be minimized so that industry gets the fund at a lower cost. And employment will be generated in the industrialization. Then it will get the sustainable approach. So this is my understanding in perspective, and I think that may give us in a better position in terms of employment generation. Let me give you another example as well. Like, Bangladesh is an overpopulated country. So here even how many employment you will generate only through the industrialization. Rather, entrepreneurship development is also very important. Like you'll find that lot of macro business or the small business have been emerging around the Bangladesh because our people have also the better IQ and they have the sense of understanding about their environment is very good. You'll find that lot of street vendors are doing their business and leading their life, and they're creating their self-employment. So if you have the well-functioning financial institutes, one financial institution can support millions of the street vendors. So millions of the job can be created. But if those financial sector, with the excuse of the employment generation, engage it, so then those entrepreneur will also not getting their support. Even recently I did a survey that, and among the small investors, small business entrepreneurs, they says that access to finance is one of their major impediment for their growth. If so, means they are creating, those small investors are creating their own employment without even state support or any support. So, and they want to borrow the money, and their repayment rate is also very high. Their default risk is very low. So, even if we want to give those kind of angel, I always tell small investors cluster is the angel for our economy. So, well-functioning financial sector can support these angels who can save this economy and contribute substantially for the prosperous Bangladesh.
Thank you, sir. I would like to mention one interesting experience. Once I came to Dhaka from Mohammedsingh, almost walking, sir, at night. And I found that Bangladesh basically doesn't sleep at night. Because there is a very big night economy, I should say, that people are working, that rickshaw pullers are working, the auto rickshaw pullers are working, and the street vendors are working, selling teas, selling foods. Some are coming from that garments factories or other factories. Okay, they have night duty, night shift. Bangladesh basically doesn't sleep at night. So there is an economy, I now call it night economy, sir. Am I right, sir?
No, I do fully agree with you. And with that, I want to add another two perspectives. Look, there are 4 million people work in the garment sector.
Yes.
More than 10 million people working as a laborer. These two clusters are, one is giving us the support in the import, RMG import, and another is giving us the foreign currency. okay, remittance. So if we consider these two cluster of the people, they are underprivileged. They were deprived from education, basics, all basic supports, and they are severely harassed in the society. But these marginal, deprived cluster of the people have come forward with their effort and have become the two major pillars for the economy. One is driving export and another driving the remittance. So you rightly says that the marginal people, general people, always engage, and they have, very low expectation. That's why sometimes I says that please don't give us the dream of like Singapore economy or other economy. Give us a dal bhat economy for Bangladesh. Means economy for all.
Yes.
Because if a deprived woman from a marginal level, without food, without education, can come and just for getting opportunity can build the $50 billion export industry, and $1 billion they send from the as a remittance, then this is the magical part that the people of the country, even without any state investment, society investment, social investment. So beside any investment, they have transformed themselves as a resources and contributing in the economy. So if you also address that, the all injuries created by the so-called privileged cluster, and those group are contributing to surviving our economy. So from that point of view, you have nicely addressed that when you are working, that all people are working. A rickshaw puller is spending his time,
Yes.
hard time,
Yeah.
and surviving his life.
Yes,
So I really appreciate of your experiences you demonstrate, and that is the true reality of Bangladesh.
Very well, sir. Thank you, sir. I have another experience. I was teaching in Chatpur Science and Technology University, and I used to go there using the river path. I used to go by launch or steamers. And I saw the riverine economy of Bangladesh. There is another economy in the rivers of Bangladesh, sir. Can you tell in brief about this, sir?
So here I have another observation in that cases. You will find that the river is a resources. We have also, I think, the ministry that is called that water resources.
Water resources.
Okay. So the name is very meaningful.
Yes.
But again, that let's think in that way. Simple example, in the Hatir Jheel project,
Yes.
you will find that people use that river and they use it as a commuting route.
Yes.
So now think about only the commuting route of those river, but there is no integrated strategic plan.
Yes.
So we can minimize a substantial amount of the cost, like we are talking about the inflation, mitigating or minimizing inflation. One of the cost of the total cost of the production is the transportation cost.
Yes.
If we can use this riverine for transporting the goods, then we can minimize substantial cost, and the supply chain management, the cost of supply chain management can be reduced.
Yes.
And if this can be reduced, it will create also the impact on the inflation. So we have to think in this direction. Yes, we address with the name that water resources.
Yes.
So water resources, I mean that is not a resources of the fishing or other things only. This route, natural route has been created, can be managed properly, and particularly the supply chain management strategy can be taken, and by which we can also contribute in inflation controlling and by reducing the cost of transportation.
Yes.
And that can be one of the important, here is a priority.
Yeah.
This is a God-gifted, natural gifted, resources.
Resources.
The route. So just we need to prioritize and come up with the strategy. There are many countries in the world who doesn't have those sort of blessings.
Yes. Yes.
So how we capitalize that for the economy, for the country, for the prosperous Bangladesh? I think this is a choice for us.
Very nice, sir. As we know that the whole Bangladesh is crisscrossed by rivers. I know 300 rivers are like this. Okay, I saw that the big rivers we are utilizing for transport purposes, but as regards Mymensingh, when I go to Mymensingh, those Puraton Brahmaputra and other rivers, probably they are not that much used as it could be. Yes, I marked it. Another thing is that transportation, almost it is very low now, riverine transportations. And I marked at Dakatia River, there is a road built constructed along the coast of the river, on the bank of the river. And the people told me that the launches and steamers used to ply over that river, but after the construction of that road, no one is more using that river for transportation. Everyone is using this road. So how can we manage it, or how can we match it?
So I think this is a trap has been created.
Yes.
If you look at the like urbanization in Bangladesh particularly, Ganj,
Ganj, yes.
we says there are a lot of Ganj.
Ganges, yes.
Bazars.
Naranganj, yes, like
Yeah.
Rupganj.
So you will find that they have been developed considering this river route.
Yes.
So river route is the ancient route used for our trading and business.
Yes.
And also urbanization, economic hub. So from this natural route, we have shifted from this natural route to the
artificial route,
artificial road,
man-made road, yes.
Man-made road. So it's a trap means, when there's a man-made road, then there are a lot of projects can be taken.
Yes.
Yes, man-made road is not in contradictory with the economic development, but it should not be the overlapping.
Yes.
Where we can use this road, we should not use huge amount of resources for the man-made road,
Yes.
or the on-land road rather than riverine. Because if from the scratch a Ganj or Bazar can be emerged, ancient economy in this Bangladesh have been developed, then why we are transforming from there? But that time there is an adversity was much more higher. There was no modern transportation, modern water
engine boards.
Yes,
or,
engine boards
big,
were
big ships
absent.
like this. Yeah. Okay.
So those times were more challenging. In spite of that, this natural route has worked as the blessings for the trading and business.
Yes.
And now these blessings can be intensified with the technology as well as the modern water vehicles. So another advantage is that Bangladesh is a smaller geographical area. So if we can come up with an integrated strategy of the transportation, considering our road and the river and the railway, then we'll come up with a solution. Otherwise, we will spend the money for building the rail, road, and all the things. There is an overlap because resources are not available, scarce resources. We have to manage it, prioritizing. So if it happens that I'm making a project for my personal interest, then there is a conflict of interest.
Yeah.
That is the root cause of our problem in every case, as you will find.
Yes, sir.
I'm prioritizing a project for my interest rather than the sustainable interest of the country.
Yes, sir.
That attitude must be stopped, or the policymaker, politicians, and the civil society should come out from there, from that approach.
Thank you, sir. Here I think there is a subject called economic geography, that each and every geographical position has its own advantages in particular economies, sir, I think.
Absolutely, absolutely. And it is said that by the expertise that globally every country
Yes.
has its own uniqueness.
Yeah.
And its problem, majority of the problem can be also unique. So we have to come up with the solution considering the uniqueness of its problem. Like you mentioned and highlighted about then transportation and the river conditions. So the similar geographical conditions is not prevailing in the Bhutan or Nepal. Even if we talk about, even in the like Sri Lanka, that we have. Now, if I would like to design my strategy considering Manhattan or even considering Singapore, I think it will be inappropriate. Our objective should be that, like, we want to be prosperous, but the way should be according to is geography, is people, and the priority of the people. Because, you know, our people do not go to the bar after evening. Their expectation is very small. They want to spend time with their family. Even if we go to the village, still we find that a few people are being together, they gossip about different issues. So that's why I was starting with the sense of security. When they will feel the sense of security, they will sit in a village bazaar and spend some time and going back. And whole day the farmers are working. They come in the village bazaar, spending some time in the tea adda and going back home. So, you know, they are not creating any trouble for anything. And majority of the people of Bangladesh belongs to that cluster. So this is the responsibility, and all policies should be prioritized, prioritized considering them.
This is what I understand, that we should not follow Singapore, we should not follow USA, we should not follow Russia, we should not copy them. We must have our own path.
Own path, but we may have an aspiration that that we, in terms of these indicators, like as I mentioned, sense of security. Singapore is, people feel sense of security is very high. In terms of those KPI, we may have the set of KPI, but the path must be different.
So, as a professor of economics and finance, sir, what I understand, what I feel, that there is no job security in Bangladesh. Considering our economic condition, considering our geography, our resources, is it possible to create job security in Bangladesh?
I disagree with the term of the job security.
Yes, sir.
Okay, because, you know, when a company or organization will employ anyone, this is an agreement that you will give me, you will perform this role, and I will ensure your benefits. We should look after whether this agreement between the employee and the employer is executing properly or not. Because I hold a philosophy that the organization, who run the organization, they should have the philosophy, or they should have the model that they will take all the strategies so that their organization can be grow, their organizational growth, employees growth, and economic growth. These three growth should be aligned. So company should come up with this strategy. So if the company finds that the particular employee is inappropriate to align these three, then he must be accountable. So that's why, rather telling the security, I want to mention that enforceability, appropriate enforceability of the contract between the employee and the employer, so that none of the employee can be deprived. In the same way, organization should ensure that the growth of the economy, growth of the company, and growth of the employee should be aligned. So then we can build the sustainable corporate culture, and you mentioned that the security job security will automatically come. For example, if you are the employer and I'm an employee, when I will perform your role, considering that point that I'm contributing your growth and that ultimately contributing in the economic growth, then I need to play my role. And if I fail to play my role, then I will not be fitted for this organization or position. Then I try to take care myself in a better way. That I'm not merely performing serving you, serving an organization and serving the economy. Because there is another perception. The owner of the organization in the emerging country, not only Bangladesh, most of them feel that they are the owner of the company. But you know, they are not the owner of the company. They hold a fraction of the ownership of the company, because a company uses huge public assets, public resources, who is owned by the state. And when state give the licenses, means state is allowing you to use the resources. That means you hold a fraction of the ownership of your total asset. Maybe in terms of balance sheet, you are holding 100% ownership. But in terms of total asset utilized by your company is a very minimum fraction you have, because state is giving you license using the public resources. So when I'll be an entrepreneur, I must have that realization that I'm using my resources, but more than that, state is allowing for using this, society is allowing for these resources. So that's why this is the responsibility of the entrepreneur. An organization should come up with this alignment, and with that, their ownership will be also grown, employee will be also protected and productive, and economy will be also sustainable, by which I'll get the bigger platform for expanding my business. If economy is not expanding, then where I'll do my business?
As regards balance sheet, I would like to ask you another question related with income tax. As you know that the present income tax and submission of the return is very much complicated, and many middle class people think it as a burden that they are paying a huge income tax, and the businessmen, they are always trying to hide their income. So do you think that, sir, this income tax laws and the procedures of the income tax return submission should be reformed?
Yeah, definitely. It should be, this is the high time, in fact, it should be reformed. But before reform, I have one prioritized issues in this respect, that there should have an impact analysis, that there will be, there will be a sensitivity. If I increase the tax rate in this way, how it will affect my inflation, cost of production, and the consumer capability or capability of consumption by the individual. This is one point. Second point is that, is the increasing tax rate the only way to increasing my tax GDP ratio or not? So there should have the huge research. Let me give you one example. We have the total GDP. We have a certain amount of the GDP, less than $450 billion GDP. Means this consumption has been happened. Then if we take the percentage, like say 10%, 20%, that must be. So if it is not happening, then who is responsible for that? That means right accounting is not happening. But state accounting says that 450 billion is my GDP. But the tax is not collecting, then what is the gap in between? Yeah. That means there is an inappropriate accounting. So if we want to take the advantage or setting the right tax, appropriate tax policy, then we have to make sure the proper accounting information. So if we can make sure the accountability and come up with the transparent accounting information, then we can take the advantage of the right tax policy. Because income is the basis of tax.
Yeah.
So if my income is wrong, if there is a chance to manipulate the income, then who will give tax, and everyone try to make the opportunity. Yeah. In fact, because of this reason, I says that what is happening, all the injuries in Bangladesh happening, I think this is an aggregate failure.
Yes.
All players, we all players, as an accountant, that's a credit rating agency, surveyor, that's loan approval, who are giving loan approval, who are preparing financial statements, okay, who are assessing tax from the NBR, So we all are not playing our right role. As a result, this is an aggregate failure I address. Okay, so we have to come up with from this aggregate failure position for the sake of prosperous Bangladesh. So reform should be from that perspective. But one or two things or changing the people or individual, we cannot come up with a solution.
Thank you, sir. Let's return to bank. I would like to ask you about money trafficking, as we are now reading in the newspapers and in medias that there was a huge trafficking of money from different banks. How could it happen, sir? No monitoring, nothing like this?
So far I understand, this is a transaction happen. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
This any transfer, let's say that from one bank to another bank, if I transfer, it's a transaction. Am I right?
Yes.
So due to these flaws, again, due to the flaws, again I'll say that accounting information. Let's say I'm the one industrialist. I have an industry. I produce and sell. So if that production and sell information is right and how much asset I have been used, then the information should be transparent that how much I sell and how much I receive. And I sell and I did the under invoicing. So when I did that under invoicing and I sell, the money has been transmitted. How you will get back this money? No, I utilize the flaws of the system. Because auditors certify that this is the right information. So then I have the backup that look, it's an audited information. So no one can put me in the legal procedure. So as per my understanding as a professional accountant as well, this is very tough to find out and to bringing that money that has been transmitted.
Can you get them back, sir, from other countries?
I think that this is not the feasible. This will be not easy.
No, politicians are now demanding to get those money back from other countries. Is it reality?
I will urge the politician because politician will give their political statement.
Yes.
But as a professional accountant or the finance professional, I do not think that this is feasible because it's a transaction. So if anyone claim that this is my money, so someone says that who says this is my money, prove it. So how long you will take the proof? And do we have the infrastructure?
Yes.
So we need to open another new ministry. Can you negotiate them? Can you justify that this money is to me, to whom? As I mentioned you that the source of transmitting money has been protected by his financial statement. That this is his financial statement. Now, how you can prove this is his money is transmitted from Bangladesh?
Well, sir,
it's very, very, very cumbersome task. Yes, politician will say this in terms of as in gross amount that we have such a big economy, but we do not find the account of this amount. Then where is this amount? It has been transmitted, and sometimes we economists also calculate it. Okay, it is happened that I exported $100, I bring $50 or $60, $30, or there are some transaction happen that I sold a land in Bangladesh. It's 100 taka. I received 30 taka, and I record it. I sold it at a 30 taka.
Yeah.
But I have a contract with you that you will give me 70 taka in Dubai. Now tell me that how the government will identify that this 70 taka I bring from Bangladesh.
Yes.
Because the transaction happen in that way. So though politician is telling in their way, I think this is not feasible proposition from the finance perspective. So that's why my concern is that, yes, political people will always talk about their statement. I do not we should not resist them because that is their proposition. This thing create another good opportunity, that is it creates awareness.
Awareness.
This creates awareness. I appreciate from that point of view that money laundering is happening. So other will be aware. But with that, we should take the measures so that money laundering cannot be happen. If a property has been sold in Bangladesh, then proper accountability should be ensured that your property has been sold, and automation should be used for making transparency of every transaction. I sold a land or house in like Gulshan. What is the price? If there is an inappropriate transaction amount, then immediately the seller and buyer should be identified and should be queried that why it is happening. This is an abnormal.
Yeah.
When it will be happen already, legally you cannot say that why you sold at the $30 instead of $100. You said this is my property, I sold it at $30. But another transaction has been happened which is out of any record. So can anyone claim that? Bangladesh government can claim that oh, you have the $70 in Dubai, you have this is my money. No, legally it cannot be happen.
Yeah, I understand.
So this is why we are talking that. Why things has been happen, we should analyze. But the longer term, the thing should not be happen. We should come up with those policies.
Yes, sir.
We should not spend too much time just to like why it is happening, why it is happening. We should come up with the measures immediately so that further it cannot be happen.
As a professor of physics, what we know that no process is reversible. So what happened, it happened.
I do agree.
Then the last question is, sir, as we know that there was hacking in the central bank, I mean Bangladesh bank. What was it? Digital failure?
Yeah, digital failure and also sense of responsibility, because central bank is one of the very crucial institute for the like a developing country like Bangladesh. So when the incident has been happened, I give the responsibility of the two issues. One is that sense of responsibility in the sense that as this is a very crucial, the like security system, like digital security system must be prioritized and strengthened. So this responsibility is failure. This is the failure of the leadership, I must admit it. Second aspect, that whether any party was engaged or not, because that is I'm not like as a investigator, I cannot mention that. But the sense of responsibility has been disrupted here, because the failure or the responsibility should be taken by the leadership. That I could not maintain the custody because I was the custodian. I couldn't discharge my stewardship. So this indicates that the most important issues is not prioritized with us, but the main damage has been happened. The message, it creates the lack of confidence of the international community that we cannot protect our central bank and its resources. So this has created a very adverse impact. So the sense of another issues in Bangladesh is a sense of responsibility means okay, just only step down. But further, it should not be disclosed that how the sense of responsibility has been disrupted, and what are the consequences for that. Okay, because central bank and its custody is not only in terms of money. If we see it as only of money, then this is a wrong proposition. When the central bank is hacked, it indicates that none of the place of Bangladesh is free from the risk. Okay, so this is also a lesson for us that like if we really, our leadership really prioritize Bangladesh, means we have to prioritize those institutions.
Thank you very much. This was our discussion. Thank you very much for participation. I think that discussion was very much lively and important. It will help a lot to build a new Bangladesh. Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you for giving me the opportunity. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, dear audience. This was our today's New Bangladesh. This was our today's discussion. Hope to see you again in the next episode. Thank you very much.